It's Friday night, and you're busy. I feel like there's something that we gotta do. Wait a minute. What time is it? It's casual Friday time. I gotta get mentally prepared for this. Gotta reach optimal levels. Gotta meditate and put on a great show tonight. You will put on a great show tonight. How you figure? Let's go. How's everybody doing out there? How's everybody doing on another oh yeah, it's Friday. Man, it's been a long week. It's been a long week, you're thinking to yourself like, man, it's been a long week. What am I going to do on my Friday night? I thought I had plans. I thought I was going to go to this new restaurant. There's a new movie coming out. I could have went and saw that. I haven't been to a soccer game in a while. Maybe I should go to a soccer game, or maybe, just maybe, you told yourself, hey, there's another thing I can do on a Friday night. I can sit in front of my computer, my tablet, my phone, maybe listen to it in the car, however you're tuning in. But there is Casual Friday. It's here on a Friday night. Once again, we're back, baby. And I'm feeling good. I'm drinking some water. I'm hydrated. Feeling great. How are y'all doing, though? That's the important thing. How are y'all doing? Hey, hope you don't mind me getting this close. Tell me about your week. Tell me about your day. What was that? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, same here. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, too close? Gotcha. I'm excited, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling great at all. Cut the music. Let's cut the music early. Because here's the deal. I'm feeling good. You know what? Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm feeling about a 7.84. 7.84 tonight. That's just me. And I know what you're thinking, like, Justin, what the hell's going on with this intro? Like, what, like, are we going to get to a point soon or not? And the answer is, I don't know. That's the answer. But we got a lot to talk about. A lot of movie news to talk about. We got a lot of figure news to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff, man. And it's been a busy week, dude. I don't know about y'all, but it's almost March, and I feel like I don't even remember. Like, February went so fast, and now we're pretty much in March. By the time the show ends, it'll be in March. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, this year already has gone by so fast. You start to think, you're like, man, that's another Valentine's Day that went by, And then you start looking back in the past, you start thinking about things, you start reevaluating. Maybe you're reevaluating your collection. Maybe you're reevaluating, some bad sushi you had earlier. I don't know, man. But regardless, we're all here for the same goal. We're all here for the same purpose. It's because we're sitting here on a Friday night and we're here to get casual, man. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's like, we're here to get casual. We're here to hang out. We're here to get to the chat. Let's get to the chat, because I'm just running on fumes at this point. I'm getting back in the swing. When you take a week off of live streaming, man, it takes a little bit of time to get back into it. Now, I did do a live stream last week. If you didn't see it, I did a Stephen King movies live stream. If you want to check that out, definitely check that out. But we didn't do Casual Friday, so we're getting back into it, man. I'm feeling super casual, but I feel like the chat's going to get me there. I feel like the chat's going to take me to that next level where I need to be to reach optimal levels. And sometimes you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to look in this camera and you have to be like, you know what? There's got to be somebody on the other end of it. It's got to be somebody on the other end of it looking at me like I'm looking at them. Let's get to the chat. We got Jedi Knights watching the building. We got Graham. Graham, I haven't seen you in the chat in a while, man, and it means the absolute world to me that you're here, dude. Really does. Thank you, man. If you're still here. This was 17 minutes ago. So I'm hoping you're still here to hear me say, hey. All joking aside, though, thank you for being here, man. It means a lot to me because sometimes when you hit that record button or you hit that go live button and there's nobody here, it's scary. It's scary. Let's get the music going. It's getting kind of scary. Like I'm setting the vibes aren't good. The vibes aren't good. Let's change it up a bit. Jedi Knights watches in the building, or at least it was 17 minutes ago. Thanks for being here, man. And I hope you're having a great day. I really do, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Darth Balrog in the building. Darth Balrog. Darth, what is up, dude? He says, yo, what's up, Darth? It's good to see you, man. Damn, Darth Balrog in the chat, man. Hell yeah. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping it casual, baby. It's this pollen, this pollen's out. Who else we got here? We got MB Dyson. MB Dyson 829 saying, good evening, Justin and all. Good evening to you, MB Dyson. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're keeping things casual. And thank you so much for being here, man. I hope you're still in the building. This was 12 minutes ago, and I hope you're still. We got Mitchell Lawrence, man, another legend, deciding to say what's happening. Honestly, just drinking some water. I got a liquid IV in this. I don't know if anybody else is a liquid IV fan. I got a little bit of liquid IV here, trying to get those electrolytes, trying to get that hydration to optimal levels. Let's take a little sip here. Oh man, that's good. That's like a peach. That's like a peach paradise flavor or something. Absolutely incredible. Mitchell, thanks for being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. We got Big Rib, another regular here on the stream at Casual Friday, man. Always keeping it real in the chat. Hey, nice profile picture there, Big Rib. Nice profile picture, bro. He says, what's up, Justin? What is up, Big Rib? I hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're keeping it casual on this Friday night. Oh, no. Water on a Friday. You need a Corona in your hand. You know who else drinks Corona? Family. You didn't even have your car. You know what? You talking about Corona gets me thinking, it gets me thinking. Just gets me thinking, and I know if you're regular on the stream, if you're a regular viewer, you know what's coming. Just get you thinking, just get you thinking. Let's see what we got here. Get you think about this guy right here. We're talking Coronas. Doesn't matter if you win by doesn't matter if you win by a mile or a couple of yards. Shit. Family. You didn't even have your car. Right. Anyway, he's back, man. He's back making an appearance. Dom Toretto, man. The Vin Diesel. Dom Toretto. Yeah, I just felt that was necessary, Big Rib. Thank you so much for mentioning Corona, because it's always a nice time when you can talk a little Dom Toretto in the stream, man. Talk a little Dom Toretto. We got Christian Crosshair Cooper in the building, or as many people in the community like to call him. Hey, Christian, what's up, man? Did you get that figure that you've been looking for that you didn't buy at retail, but now you're wanting to pick it up later? Cooper. He has to shorten it, but that's I believe that's his legal name. I could be wrong. But I think it is. But Christian, I hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for being here, man. Good to see you. Hope you're keeping it casual. We got Yagron too, Lane in the building saying, hey, hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good too, Lane. Hope you're doing good too. The match to 1K. The match to 1K. The match to 1K. Are you saying this is the match to get to 1K subscribers? Or is there a match going on that you have $1,000 put on it? Are you a gambler? Lane, are you gambling? Lane, are you in gambling trouble? Did you think you were messaging your bookie and you accidentally messaged me here on the stream? Drago2 says, so I got hit by tax stuff today. No refund this year. Got to pay back. So I'm just like, thank you so much, Uncle Same. It's a lot to unload there, Lane, but I'm sorry, tax season is upon us. Good luck out there on tax season, everybody. Darth Brawler says, hype to get a Daredevil reveal. We know it's coming. We absolutely do. I can't wait, and I cannot wait to start watching Daredevil Born Again, man. I am super hyped for this. Super hyped. We got Wayne Timothy dropping by. Wayne Timothy's keeping it casual. He says, what's up, Jason? Oh, he said, sorry about Justin. Oh, okay. Okay, cool, Wayne. That was a relief. Still fighting off the flu. Oh, damn, dude. I'm sorry about that, man. I hope you start feeling better, dude. Really hope you start feeling better. But thank you for being here, Wayne. I really do appreciate it, man. And we got Lane saying, were you surprised that Sideshow put up the video of the movie Flash figure? I thought they might just sneak that out like the Kang figure from Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an interest in that figure regardless, but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting myself. I thought that was an interesting choice there. I'm honestly surprised that like it wasn't that, like they didn't just release it and we're like, hey, it's out there. Sorry, we already have it out. Big Rib says, LOL, I knew I would get the Toretto out of you. Hell yeah, man. Anytime's a good time to talk a little Dom Toretto, man. Yagron says, Justin is always family. Though I think Justin has more chance to a Tourette's than Toretto. Lane, you got to help me out with this. You got to help me out with this, man. I don't know if you're using a BlackBerry. You got to help me out here, man. I'm trying to follow you with some of this, man, but I'm just not following on some of this, bro. I'm so sorry. Keith Lee saying, evening, everyone. What's up, Keith Lee? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for being here, dude. Hope you're keeping it casual on this Friday. MB Daddy says, Sideshow has some unexpected figures in stock, like that limited MK80 Iron Man. Yeah, or Mark 80 Iron Man. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been looking, dude. Luckily, I was able to. They had taken, for whatever reason, I thought for the longest time I had Pennywise pre-ordered, and it was waitlisted, and I was like, I haven't got a notification for any of this, so like, let me just double check. I didn't have them pre-ordered, and luckily, my pre-order, like, I got on the wait list immediately. And I was like, all right, I'll just have to pay a little extra for this when it comes out. So luckily, man, it like, I already got my wait list converted for that. Like, and it was like a day later, so that was pretty sweet. Yagron 2 says, Sideshow's starting to do their statues north of 1K. Yeah, and that's they're gonna lose a lot of customers that way, man. I don't really like the way things are going. And I won't get into it on this stream. I've talked about it a number of times, but the prices, man, for some of these things are just getting a little ridiculous, in my opinion. Clinton Martin says, howdy, folks. And Justin, what is up, Clinton? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks so much for being here for another episode of Casual Friday, man. I know you're keeping it casual. I already know, Clinton. I already know you're keeping it casual, man. Looks like you broke Jason's heart with that one. Yeah, That hurt. That hurt me, man. We got Big Rib says, let's effing go. Maximum levels, LOL. Let's go, Big Rib. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for bringing the hype in the chat as always, dude. Lane says, I just want to know if those joints on the Red Hulk make you rage out. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of, we're going to talk about the Red Hulk, but I'm not. That's not my major issue with it, though. And we'll talk about that when we get to that topic, but that is not my major issue with the figure. Christian says, Justin, should I pre-order Red Hulk? They need to make some changes to it. They need to make some changes to it, in my opinion, before I'm going to pre-order it. I absolutely think Red Hulk is worthy character to add because I don't see them making that character for a while, even though I do think Red Hulk has a future in the MCU going forward. I just think that this is going to be one that you want to get. Like, so yeah, I would say I probably would if you're happy with the prototype. But dude, I'm really hoping they fix some of the prototype stuff. We're going to talk about it, but I have one major issue with the prototype. One major issue. Lane says, this is a little older, Justin, but did you like that giant Spider-Man 2 Venom figure, or did you prefer something like that comic Venom more? I wasn't sure about this. I think the Spider-Man 2 Venom figure looks amazing. I think it looks amazing. It's too much Venom for me. It's just too big. And like, I'm limited on space, so like, I'm going to get the comic version, but I want to stress, like, the video game version looks amazing, and if you're a fan of that game and that's the version you want, man, I don't think you can go wrong with it. Lane says it's a $390 price, which is not terrible. It's less than Venom. Yeah, it's not a bad price at all. I just have some issues with it. Christian says he hates those weird knee joint things. Yeah, not a fan of that. Still not my biggest issue. Man. Darth Power says that he's getting both Venoms. There you go, man. There you go. I mean, that's, if that's a character that you want both of, man, that you cannot go wrong with that. They're two way different. So I think that's a good option for you. All right, man. So we got 12 in the chat. So if you didn't see the thumbnail, man, I wanted to put the topics. I wanted to do a little something different with the thumbnail today. So if you didn't see, so we're going to take a look at the topics real quick. Obviously, as always, man, we're going to start with the top. We're going to, that's going to be where most of our time goes. And then those two at the bottom, if we got time for those, we're going to get to those. The thing that's not on there, we're also going to talk about the Mondo Wolverine, which I'm excited to check out. But we got to talk Star Wars, man. I feel like there's been so much Star Wars news this week that I feel like we got to talk Star Wars. I think we're about to be getting hit hard with some crazy Star Wars news and like toy news, figure news, all this different stuff. So whether it be movies, figures, whatever, I think we're about to get hit hard with a bunch of stuff from Star Wars, man. So I think like with this week being so crazy with Star Wars, I feel like that's where we're going to kick things off. And then, like I said, if we have time, be thinking about some questions. I'm thinking about doing a little Q&A segment, but I might actually make that a separate stream. Even though on my stream, like, we really kind of just ask questions and I answer them anyway. We might do like a Q&A stream. So if we don't have time for that tonight, I might push that to like its own stream, like just a, hangout Q&A type of thing. We're just hanging out, chilling and keeping it casual, but not casual Friday. You know what I mean? Yagron says, I had Big Boy Venom on order, but I had to cancel it because I had the RT hit me and still have Joker coming out too. I just got Joker in. I went ahead and got the sculpted, so I haven't even unboxed it yet, but I'm very excited. Darth Barrow says, a sideshow would ship my 21 inches already. Yeah, dude, you got to get that in, man. You got to get that Venom, bro. ABI says, fun fact, Kenneth Johnson, the producer of the Lou Ferrigno Hulk series, wanted to make the Hulk red since he thought it represented anger and wondered why he was green. That's really cool, man. It's always interesting to kind of see that. You have that story with Frankenstein's monster as well, with like the different color grading and how he was supposed to look. He was green, but he was really like this white, like kind of color. Like, it's always interesting with like those creative changes, that happen. And then, obviously the Hulk being green is so iconic that it's weird to think of the Hulk not green. But the Red Hulk's a whole different character, and one that I think is cool, man, that we're getting like, we're starting to get introduced to that character as well. So hopefully one day we'll get World War Hulk, and we'll get that storyline on film, but who knows? We'll see. Yargon 2 says, Star Wars is my favorite franchise. Christian says, what's your prediction on Revenge of the Sith anniversary announcements? I think 1,000%, we're going to get another Anakin, another Obi-Wan. I don't think that the Revenge of the Sith, I don't know, man. The weird thing about Revenge of the Sith is that I feel like out of all the movies that they could pull characters from, I just think that they're going to be limited in like what they're going to be able to bring us. Because we already got a Padme that was released with Attack of the Clones. We already got a Mace. A lot of the characters that we're seeing get announced are from the other. So you'd have to kind of think of ones that are like specific to the, the movie. And I just can't think, we already have Grievous announced. We already have, some of the Jedi announced. We already have Sidious. So I'm thinking to myself, man, to be honest with you, I just don't see a way. Just when I was getting cooking, man. Just when I was getting cooking, Christian. But I think that, like, okay, here's the thing. My final prediction is this. I think, even though it is the Revenge of the Sith anniversary, I personally think we're going to be disappointed with the offerings again. Like, I think they're still going to announce some Star Wars stuff, but I don't know what the actual anniversary announcement is going to be. Does that make sense? Like, I kind of keep going back and forth on that. So we will see. I didn't answer a damn thing. So my answer is Anakin and Obi-Wan. I just feel like it's going to be them two again. Lane says, is the release schedule for Andor feel wonky? They're like throwing it out in like a month and it's done. I think okay, so, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, about the future of Star Wars. So I think that all this stuff that has kind of been shelved, they're wanting to just kind of get it out and just get it going. I think we're about to see a new era of Star Wars. And it's interesting because now with Disney owning Star Wars, we don't get to even like take breaks. So like, you had the original trilogy, then you had the prequel trilogy. Now you have the Disney Plus series. So there's always going to be Star Wars every year. But I think we're entering in a new phase of Star Wars. And so I think Andor is part of the old phase. And I think this newer phase that's coming in with the newer trilogy, they're going to build a lot of stuff around that. Now, let me say that we're going to get to this, Lane, because I have a lot of thoughts on this, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Let me get to these others, and I will dive deep into this because we're going to be talking about the future of Star Wars and what I think is going to happen. Obviously, if you don't know, Kathleen Kennedy, it's rumored that she's going to be stepping down at the end of this year. She's kind of come out and said that she's not anywhere close to stepping down. It's going to be a few more years. But, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So, like, you're assuming that there is going to be a change at the top at Lucasfilm, and people are speculating, like, who's going to take over. There's been speculation about, Dave Filoni. There's been speculation about even Kevin Feige. There's been speculation about Jon Favreau. So, again, we'll talk about that, where I think it's heading, where the future Star Wars is heading. With these changes, or if anything's going to change at all, or we're just going to still get the same kind of patterns that we're getting with Disney Plus shows, new trilogy, rinse and repeat. Big Rip says, Justin does a really good Toretto. He was just a little off his game today. I appreciate that. Yeah, today it just feels, I didn't have it today, man. But sometimes that's okay, man. Because like Dom Toretto always says, family. I don't know. I gotta find some more. I gotta have some more lines in the arsenal. I gotta have like some different, some different things. Christian says, RIP my wallet. Chris just threw his wallet off a balcony. He just said, I can't even deal with the stress. I got to see you later, wallet. And just threw his wallet. The wallet's just sitting in a puddle somewhere. MB Dice says, most Star Wars announcements save me money, so bring it on. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. The way they're announcing stuff, there hasn't been a lot so far this year, and I think that is, I think that's going to change very soon. Chris says, I want everything Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, dude, I can't remember, but I think you said this was your favorite Star Wars film, period, right? Like, this is your favorite, like, not only prequel trilogy, but of all time. Darth Balrog says, I'm crazy to want a sculpt. All right, am I crazy? I want a sculpted dark side Anakin over an artisan. No, not at all, dude. And I'll be honest with you, man. For me, like the artisan stuff, all right, guys. Hey, listen, I'm sorry about these technical difficulties, man. Every time we're about to get cooking on some Star Wars talk, man, it boots me. So here's what we're going to do. If that happens again, I'm just going to have to switch over to... I'll have to switch a few things. So you'll have to give me like a couple minutes and I'll switch some things around. But, man, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes this happens, you know. Sometimes you got to fight through it. Sometimes you got to persevere. Sometimes you have to be at optimal levels. You know, we were going to get through this adversity, guys. We're going to get through this adversity. The thing about it is what I was saying was like artisan for me is like a means to an end. Like, it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm personally not going to be able to keep up with all the artisans. So aside from an artisan here or there, like if the artisan's the only version I can get, I'll get it. But I'm kind of like getting back to just wanting to do sculpted, to be honest with you, man. Like, I mean, the artisan stuff's cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not hating on it. I'll just be totally transparent. It's getting out of my price range, to be honest with you. Like, I just cannot justify spending that much for a figure anymore. Like, because there's so many of them. Like, when I thought there was only gonna be a handful of them, I probably could, but I'm gonna sculpted's the way to go for me, man. That's why I'm getting a lot more excited for some of these that are coming out sub 300, which is still insanely expensive. But all right, who else we got? Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. Wayne says, I would love to see the General Grievous manga guards. That'd be sick, man. That'd be sick. It could be something like that. It definitely could be like some type of trooper, some guard, some type of thing like that. Would not surprise me whatsoever. Chris is picking up a Tesla tomorrow. He's picking up a Tesla, so he doesn't want that Red Hulk. He wants a Tesla. He wants a Tesla. Clint says, I heard somewhere the Andor release schedule is broken up into 3-episode drops due to each 3 episodes being a jump in timeline. Yeah, that is a great point. I believe I heard that too, Clinton, but thank you for sharing this. I totally forgot about that, but as soon as you said it, it like reinvigorated those memories of, yes, I do remember them saying something like that. In fact, the Daredevil show is having like a weird release schedule to make room for Andor. It's a weird deal. Matthew Martinez and we lost him. But I'm back, Matthew, and I hope you're still in the chat, man. Thank you so much for being here, Matthew. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're keeping it casual. I hope you're having a great day, dude. And thank you for being here. We got Matthew Esparza in the building. What is up, Matthew? All right, man. You know what's funny? You guys? This is just, this is a good opportunity for me to, this is a good opportunity for me to talk about this. Okay. So what's interesting is I didn't stream last week. I've been super busy. I've been having a lot of stuff going on. All right. And I haven't really been feeling like streaming the past like couple weeks. Like if you've kind of looked at my content on my channel, it's like, it's been a little sporadic. Um, And what's funny is like tonight I was like, all right, dude, I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling good again. Like I want to, like I had a pretty, it's the weekend. I'm feeling like I'm ready to get back into like the stream and doing all this stuff, right? And then we're getting hit with the technical difficulties. We've been booted out 3 different times, bro. We've been booted out 3 different times. And so it's just kind of funny how that works, like when the internet was well, I was like, I didn't do a show, or like I shortened the show, or didn't feel like it. Now that I'm wanting to stream and like I'm feeling good, we got a lot to talk about. It's like 3 different times got booted already, man. So that's, to me, that's just like an interesting part of life, man. It's like an interesting part of I'm making it bigger than it is, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, I just thought that was kind of funny. I was kind of sitting there while I was trying to reconfigure some stuff and like refresh. And I had to kind of laugh because I was like, dude, this is kind of funny. Like, it's just like, I finally was like, all right, man, we're getting back to it, man. It's March. We're getting back into it. The weather's getting a little nicer. We're going to start. And then boom, man, technical difficulty. So here's the thing, guys. I think we're good. If not, though, if we get hit with that again, I don't know what I'm going to do, because that's going to be annoying all night. So I don't really have any other options than what I just did. So I think we're good right now. My levels are looking good. And so if you're still with me, man, we had 15 a minute ago. We're down to 8, which is totally cool. I appreciate the 8 that are still here, man. I totally get it, though, if people left, because if I'm watching a stream and like there's nobody there, I totally get it. But thank you all for still being here, fighting through the technical difficulties with me. Let me get back to the chat here. Where were we here? Matthew says, did you see they're releasing Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X on 4K at Texas Frightmare Weekend this year? Kane Hodder will do a photo up in customs. Well, yeah, I did see that, dude. That's sick, man. I have the I have the Friday 13th, like the whole collection, but I'll be honest with you, that cover art, it's man, it's gonna be tough to say no to the 4Ks of those two, man. The cover art is so good on that. Arrow Video's crushing it, man. But yes, I did see that, Matthew, and I'm probably picking those up. It's hard for me to say no to those type of movies, even if I already have a copy. To get it on 4K, to get it from Arrow Video, to hopefully have some different special features, I'm pretty hyped for that. Striker says, "Well, happy Casual Friday. It wouldn't shock me or surprise me if we do get a Dark Side Anakin, and that is just like Darth Maul. They'll probably give us 1 or 2 figures for the anniversary." I agree, Striker. I agree. This is my thinking, man. I think we're gonna get like a couple of things. Um, Nothing crazy. I think we're gonna get a ton of Star Wars stuff this year. I just don't know what we're gonna get that's actually like anniversary branded. You know what I mean? Matthew says, "Chad, I really need help deciding King Louis or London Drip. Chad, help him out. Help out a fellow casual Fridayer, Matthew Martinez." Jeffrey in the building. What's up, Jeffrey? He says, "I think it's time for a Yoda from Hot Toys." 100%. I think that's a great one, Jeffrey. That's a great one, dude. That's an absolutely great one. I think this could happen. Matthew says, "On the topic of Frightmare, excited for Ty West, me as well, to be showing up. He's buying X, Pearl, and Maxine. Would be crazy to get me a guy showing up." Yeah, dude. Matthew, if you like those movies, man, one of my favorite Ty West. It's a slow burn, man. But if you've seen House of the Devil, that one is a very good, like kind of like, kind of haunted house. I don't want to say too much about it if you don't know about it, because it'll, it's always better if you know less about the movie. But um Ty West is hit or miss for me. He also did a movie called The Innkeepers. A lot of these are like very slow build horror. He did a great segment. He's done some great segments on like the VHS movies. So yeah, I'm excited for him to be there. Again, his movies are hit or miss. Like there's been some that I've really liked, and there's been some that I just missed the mark for me, man. But I'm definitely excited to see him there. Mia Goth, I doubt will be there. She just got cast in Christopher Nolan's new film, which is like a huge epic. So I doubt she will be there, Matthew, but that would be sick if she was, man. That'd be sick. Matthew says, "I think Bruce Campbell line is going to be insanely long there." Yeah, oh yeah, Bruce Campbell's line's always popular. Always popular. He's like a mainstay at a lot of these things, man. He kind of reminds me, he's like the Nathan Fillion of horror. Like if you go to like a regular Comic-Con and you go to like Nathan Fillion's line is always really good and like really crowded, even though like, and he does stuff. I mean, he works constantly. I just meant that, like, people love, when he was in Firefly, people love this other stuff. Same with Bruce Campbell. Like he's got a huge following of like real devoted fans of like the Evil Dead. And so it's, it's gonna be sick. Yagron 2 says, "So hey, speaking of Star Wars, if they do much for Revenge of the Sith 20th, since they already announced a bunch of figures, any you'd be interested in?" Um Honestly, no. I know how crazy that sounds. There's not a whole lot from I really want stuff from I mean, I do want stuff from Force Awakens, I guess. Uh but I really want stuff from Phantom Menace, man. Like Phantom Menace is really where my um Phantom Menace is what I really want to see stuff from, man. There's so many characters from that, and again, Revenge of the Sith, an incredible movie. But just in terms of like the figures and stuff, I want more from Phantom Menace. So obviously, Anakin and Obi-Wan, you got Grievous coming, like the stuff they've already announced for the movie. I don't know what else I would want really, or that I would actually probably get that hasn't already been announced or teased in some capacity. Matthew says, "I'm unfamiliar with Arrow as I don't collect physical media, but this might start my physical media rabbit hole. Does Arrow make good stuff?" And picked up The Last of Us TV show 4K March. Yeah, Arrow's a fantastic company. Arrow is a fantastic company, Matthew. I highly recommend. Now, here's the thing, Matthew. On some of these, so here's the one issue that a lot of these boutique companies are having that make these Scream Factory or whatever, right? The 4K transfers sometimes have issues with them when they get released. And so a lot of times they'll have like a disc replacement program. So a lot of times if like you were to go buy a movie that's been out from Arrow for like over a year, it should have the correct disc in it, but you just never know. And again, man, normally it's very minimal stuff. Like you'd really have to be watching close to even notice the difference, but a few of it's like little like changes in the color grading or whatever, that people that are really adamant about it can notice. Now, a few of them, it's been rough, like the whole time. So you've had to really get a replacement disc. I know on my copy of Donnie Darko, there was a big issue with like the opening scene, and I had to get like a replacement disc for that. But Arrow is one of the best to do it, man. Arrow is one of the best. If you like horror and like, and they do more than horror, but if you like horror and like, you know, uh, you know, just like 70s, 60s, 80s, like kind of under the radar horror movies and stuff, man, Arrow's got a lot going for it. They do a lot of good stuff. And so yeah, to answer your question, I do collect a lot of physical media, so I could talk about this all day. But I highly recommend it. Arrow's a fantastic company. Fantastic. And they usually do some really good special features as well. They usually do some really good special features, and their packaging on their movies is really good. Like you're gonna like it, again, like you said, rabbit hole. You're gonna go down a rabbit hole with this stuff, man. So be careful. Just be careful is all I'm gonna say. Like it gets yeah, you end up seeing, start buying the same movie because it's got like a different cover art, or it's got a little bit more special features or something, so just be careful with it. Wayne Timothy says Hot Toys went all in on Attack of the Clones, but barely give us anything for the Phantom Menace. So who knows what to look for? Yeah, that's my thing, man. And I strongly believe we're getting some Force Awakens stuff this year. I really do. It wouldn't shock me, as weird as this sounds, if like the artists and stuff comes from the Force Awakens. Like they might just give us two really, they might just give us a Rey and Kylo and just be done with it, and just, I really think we're getting a Poe Dameron as well. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like you. It's like, who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what they're going to do? Darth Brower says, trying to decide if I should invest in the whole Jedi Council. I love Kit Fisto and Plo Koon, but haven't pulled the trigger yet. Yeah, that's up to you, man. I've had to take a step back on that, Darth Balrog. Like, I collect too many IPs, man. So, like, for me, I'm having to be like, I can't finish lines anymore. I didn't even like finish any lines to begin with. But I'm just saying, like, I'm really going character specific. Even with Star Wars, it's like, I really want to get some of those characters. Like, I still don't have a Han Solo. I still don't have a Luke Skywalker. Like, I want to get or a Leia. That's really my focus right now, is getting these like big time characters, and then I'll probably go deeper later on. But again, man, I'm really cutting back this year a lot. I'm really cutting back a lot this year. So, that's up to you, man. That's totally up to you, Darth Bauer. But if you're like a Star Wars collector, man, that wouldn't be a bad investment to have those, because I don't see them making Kit Fisto or Plo Koon anytime soon again. Matthew says, finally saw the Monkey movie as well. Was a bit confusing. Felt some stuff was unanswered. Could that be because I didn't read the original book, or is it meant to have some loose ends? I just think that the movie was kind of all over the place tonally. I've heard a lot of people, Matthew, I've heard a lot of people loved it. I really liked it. And a lot of people like hated it, and a lot of people were kind of like, kind of like met it with like, it was kind of mid or whatever. I think people weren't anticipating the vibe and the tone of the movie. I think the tone of the movie was different than what they were probably expecting, which was kind of interesting to me, because I thought that they advertised it extremely accurately. Any loose ends, I think it might just be, I don't think you have to read the book, Matthew, to like this, because the directors kind of said that, they kind of, they used the book obviously, but they made some changes and stuff. So I don't think it's that. I think it might have just been the way the movie kind of unfolded. It did get, the going from them being younger to older, so I can kind of get how that happened. But yeah. Darth Bauer says, I agree. More episodes. What is this on? Okay. Sorry about that, Darth Bauer. Trying to fix them. He says, I agree. More episode 1 is needed. If they released Qui-Gon and gave us young Obi, I'd jump on those in RB. Same here. And that's what I'm kind of waiting on. And that's what I've had to really kind of like focus myself with Star Wars, is like, okay, like, who's the characters you really want? Are you gonna be able to get them if they announced them this year? And so, like I said, I'm cutting back a lot this year, so we'll see what happens. But I will say those two would definitely be tough to say no to. Dar says, heck, even that Tam battle droid that they teased. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. We got Moose in the building, 12-inch Moose stream in the building. Said, hello, community of collectors. I have the next 4 days off. Let's go. When I'm at the Most Strangers. Let's go, man. Great weekend ahead for Moose. Hope you have a great weekend, man. And thank you for being here and keeping it casual, man, here on Casual Friday. Episode 21, man. Can you believe it? Episode 21. Matthew says, I haven't seen Long Legs yet, but it's by the same director, right? Yeah, it's by Osgood Perkins. It's totally different. Long Legs is a totally different thing than The Monkey was, Matthew. So if you didn't really like The Monkey too much, I really think you would probably like Long Legs better. Long Legs is more of like a straightforward, like traditional horror film. The tone is like more dark, and there's some goofy parts in it, but like the tone is like serious, dark, kind of like ominous. So Matthew says, do you feel the lineup for Frightmare is lacking? I saw people complaining on social media, or you'll still go regardless based on current lineup. It says, here's what I always say about conventions in general. Having people there is amazing, but if you really think about it, man, I don't know about you, Matthew, but when I go, I maybe am able to meet like 2 or 3 celebrities. Like, I'm not one of those people that like want to spend my entire time in a line to like meet a celebrity. So I really like, for instance, like say they had like Matthew Lillard there. That's a guy I'll wait in line for. One of my big regrets is not getting a photo op with John Carpenter when he was there last year. And so it's always hit or miss, man. The thing about it is too, man, they're still going to announce a few more people. But I think the lineup's pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's incredible. Like, like if you think about like, man, you wanted to see like, the biggest horror icons, but I'm happy with the lineup. And again, man, the cool thing about a convention is all the other stuff is where the fun is at for me. Again, I love saying hey to a celebrity, telling them how much their work meant to me, like getting a quick photo of, getting an autograph, getting a picture. Like that stuff's fun. But I wouldn't say that's why I go to these things. I go to these things to like, be around like-minded people that are into horror movies, that want to talk horror movies. You're kind of seeing all the different merch and all that different stuff. So I would just say, man, if you're thinking about going to a horror convention this year, or just a Comic-Con convention this year, definitely do so, man. For the other, again, you can actually go, you can buy your ticket and just have fun, like walking around and like meeting people and saying what's up and seeing all the cosplay. And it's just a lot of fun, man. We got DeGito in the building. What's up, DeGito? Hope you're doing well, man. He says, hello all. Hey, Justin, haven't caught a stream in a while. Yeah, DeGito, I haven't seen you in the chat in a while, man. But in fairness, dude, I've been kind of sporadic with my uploads this year so far, to be totally real with you, man. Been having a lot of stuff going on. And I haven't been, we didn't even have a casual Friday last week, man. So no problem, DeGito. Like I said, man, I'm not even being consistent with my uploads. So I totally get it, man. But I'm glad you're here tonight, and I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're keeping it casual. All right, so obviously, I'm not going to pull up a big graphic or anything. We're just going to talk a little bit about, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilm. And I don't know who they're going to put in charge of Lucasfilm when she does step down, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of Star Wars. We've already been talking about it a little bit with like Andor. We've been talking a little bit about it. I will pull up a little bit of something. The reason I am going to pull up something is so that way if people jump in, they kind of can follow along what we're doing, and they can be like, oh, what are they talking about? So we will pull up, I'll just pull up like a news story here. And so here you get into this, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy responds to retirement reports, confirms Star Wars succession plan. I'm not going to be here forever. She's kind of going back and forth on when she's actually going to step down. But basically it just kind of says like, she's responded herself. Kennedy's working with Disney boss Bob Iger on a succession plan 13 years into the job, with Star Wars Rebels creator and current Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni apparently in a strong position to take on the role. However, she insisted the truth is, and I wanted to just say loud and clear, I'm not retiring. So again, seems like she's still going to be working with Disney in some capacity, but maybe just not with Lucasfilm. She says, I'll never retire from movies. I will die making movies. The first thing that's important to say, I'm not retiring. So she really wanted to put this out there to like, even though I'm stepping down from Lucasfilm, it seems like she will still be a producer on a lot of these Disney properties going forward. And I wanted to talk about this too, because again, she talks about it when every intention making, and shout out to IGN. This is where I'm pulling this from, is IGN. So this is the source from that. which they're pulling sources from other things. But so she has every intention to make an announcement months or even a year down the road on an eventual succession to continue to stay at Lucasfilm. That involved producing the upcoming Mandalorian movie and a Star Wars film from Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy. And if you saw the thumbnail, that's the one that's rumored to have Ryan Gosling in it. That's going to be like the start to the new trilogy that's going to be set like 5 or 6 years after Rise of Skywalker. What else do we got? Was there anything else that... Space says Deadline asked Kennedy point blank whether she will step down as Lucasfilm boss this year, and she replied to say she didn't know at this stage, but confirmed it would be 100% my decision. Kennedy wouldn't say whether Filoni was in line for the top pick or for the top job. So the thing is like with what I think is interesting is obviously she's stepping down. I think that they're definitely going a different direction. I think they want to go a different direction with Star Wars. I think that if I had to guess, the direction they're going to go is either I could see them, if it is Filoni that takes over, which I don't even know if, I think I'm back and forth on who should be at this role. Like, you know, sometimes it's better to have more of like a, I don't know how to describe it, but Filoni is doing a lot of great stuff. You know, he's done a lot of great stuff, but Filoni stuff is very Filoni. Like, it's like everything Filoni does is Dave Filoni stuff. You know, it's like when you watch his stuff, it's like he expects you to know like everything from Dave Filoni. So in a way, like doing like a shared universe, that makes sense because he does a really good job with it. I personally think a guy like, you know, Jon Favreau or maybe even somebody that's not doing directing or anything like that, more of like a producing, more of like an overseer, kind of like a Kevin Feige. I think that would make more sense personally. So that way you can keep guys like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni making the movies. But you know, again, I think either way would be a good step forward. I'm hoping it's one of those two guys. Again, there's a few other people we're probably not even mentioning that could take over as well. But like I said, man, for me, like Favreau, you know, he has the history with doing stuff with Marvel. You know, we've seen what he does as a director. We've seen what he's done as a producer, all this different stuff. I just feel like for me, like with The Mandalorian, when The Mandalorian season 1 hit, I felt like that I haven't seen everybody in Star Wars fandom pretty much get on the same page of like, this is what we want. We want more of Mandalorian season 1. Now, Mandalorian season 2 was incredible as well. Mandalorian season 3 definitely had its ups and downs, you know, but Mandalorian season 1 was so well received. I feel like pretty much everybody on board with that. And that is rare in Star Wars, man. I mean, it is so divisive with Star Wars right now with what people are wanting, what people like. You know, there's people that really want more of like stuff from the original trilogy. There's people that are, you know, want more of like, you know, the Dave Filoni stuff to build out that universe. So I think for me, the future of it really depends on who gets that role, man. I think that Filoni, if he was to get the role, I think his main thing would be to continue to build out the Filoniverse. And then we might get into some newer stories. I personally think Star Wars needs to start looking at, they'll never do it because there's just too much money to be made, but like taking a step back, man. I mean, what happens is these IPs and these companies, they have to have so much content out that, like, you know, now when something Star Wars comes out, it's still fun and exciting for fans, but like it doesn't have that weight like it had. Like when a new Star Wars movie comes out, like an episode fill in the blank movie comes out, that's a big event film. They need to make sure that they keep the theatrical stuff an event film. And I am a little nervous, even though I'm pumped to see Mandalorian and Grogu. Like I can't, you know, it's going to be exciting. Can't wait to see it. I am interested to see if they continue to go that path. You know, I definitely think they need to find, you know, if Ryan Gosling is going to be in the new trilogy, I think that's a great first start. I think getting an established actor to at least like be in it would be a good start. But man, Star Wars is in such a difficult spot right now, man, because you either have to start over new, because to me, doing a change like this means you're going to do something new. And if you put Filoni in there, you're going to start seeing a lot of stuff that, that we already are familiar with. And that's what some fans want. And then some fans want newer stories. And then some fans want both, so you're never going to make anybody happy. So I feel like Star Wars just needs to really focus on good storytelling. I think they need to focus on the writers. I think they need to make sure that they're writing great stuff. And I think that they need to just, people just need to realize, Star Wars is Star Wars. We need to just let it be Star Wars. It doesn't have to be this Avengers level, shared universe. Star Wars, in my opinion, works better when it's kind of off doing its own thing in the different movies. But man, they got to get back to these original trilogy films, or these movies that get released. They got to get back to some semblance of it being epic again, and I feel like since the last two weren't received well, man, and plus all their new stuff's going to Disney Plus, I feel like there's that specialness of Star Wars has been diminished a little bit, Let's check in with the chat here, and we're going to continue talking about it because this is a good conversation. Matthew says, I may be wrong, but it sounds like they backtracked on it. Kathleen said she's working on the transition to her successor, which may be a year. What I think happened is when the original story came out, Matthew, it seemed like the language kind of seemed like she was getting fired in a way. Like it didn't say, hey, Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired. But the language was left it open for interpretation. Oh, dude, they're getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy. They don't want her to be involved in Lucasfilm anymore. I think her coming out is to basically tell people hey, look, I'm still involved. I'm going to be a big part of finding the next, the predecessor. So I think it was a little bit of damage control because I don't think they wanted it to seem, because Kathleen Kennedy's just been with Lucasfilm and been doing all this stuff for so long that I don't think they wanted it to seem like she was getting fired or anything like that. I think that's where there was a bit of PR course correction. That's my personal opinion. MB Dyson says Kathleen Kennedy must go and Alex Kurtzman for Star Trek 2. They can start a company together and make all the original bad sci-fi they want and stop ruining the classics. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I think that, I think that if you're going to start new with Star Wars, they really need to just start new with it. That's my honest opinion. They just need to start fresh and, really start fresh, I mean, the original trilogy was the original trilogy. The prequel trilogy was the prequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy was trying to service everything. It was trying to make everybody happy. And then they went with some other stuff where it seemed like it was making nobody happy. So again, that's why I keep going back to Mandalorian. I felt like Mandalorian season 1 captured something that they need to try to recreate in some way. And if that means you give Favreau the job, if that means it's Filoni and Favreau, I don't know how they're going to do it. But I just feel like Mandalorian season 1 truly felt like this. Star Wars felt like it was on the right track. It felt like there was this goodwill about it. And even after Force Awakens, even after Force Awakens, it was The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker when things started going south for a lot of fans. But I think that if they can continue to find out what made The Mandalorian work so well and try to continue to give that to us, fans, listen, man, we'll go full here. Here's the thing. We all love this stuff. We love Marvel. We love Star Wars. We love all this stuff. But we honestly, in my opinion, sometimes fans don't even really know what they want. Fans just want something good, and fans are trying to figure out a way to they want to cherish the originals. They want to make sure that the legacy stays great. All this different stuff, right? But the thing is, man, is sometimes as a creative, and the people that are going to be making the next Star Wars movies, they need to just make the best possible movie that they can. Don't feel like you got to make the best possible Star Wars movie. Make the best movie that you can. And I really think if they'll do that, and they'll ignore, you don't want to ignore the fans, but you need to ignore all the noise in a way and hire the right people, hire capable people, and make really good stuff. And again, it's really not that difficult. You got unlimited budget and resources. And I'm not saying it's not difficult. It's very difficult to make shows and movies. All right. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying, you saw stuff that was working. Like, look at what is working with Star Wars right now and double down on that. Quit trying to, go all these different routes with it and figure out what's really working with Star Wars and double down on it. Just completely double down on that. And the reason I keep going back to Mandalorian season 1 is because that is a great season of television. It introduced us to new characters. It was familiar yet new and felt fresh. And that's something that Star Wars movies haven't felt like in a while. It feels like Star Wars movies are doing new stuff just for the sake of being new and just for the sake of doing something different. Just make the best possible movie you can make. And I think as fans, as Star Wars fans, it's awesome that, people are super passionate about this stuff and want the best thing. But at the same time, man, it's like the golden age of Star Wars, it's never going to be that way again. Like, now that Disney is here, dude, there's going to be so much Star Wars that, like, you're almost going to get just desynthesized to it, because it's just going to be like, oh, another Star Wars thing, another Star Wars. What made those Star Wars movies so special to people is, like, you had those movies and then you went a very long time before there was any new Star Wars stuff. Now there's so much new Star Wars stuff. Now there's the internet. Now everybody has an opinion, like, right as soon as the movie or whatever airs. And I don't know, man. I just think that if Star Wars wants to continue to be this IP that is just going to be this massive IP and going to continue to bring in fans all over the world, all different ages, all this different stuff, you need to just get back to the basics and really focus on making one really good movie. That's it. All the marketing, all the different stuff, all that stuff will take care of itself. Make a really good movie. And it's subjective, so it's tricky. It's like, well, what do the fans want? The fans have shown you what they want. Like, really look back and see what the fans are really wanting. Now, some fans are not going to be happy with anything, and some fans are going to be happy with everything. But what is going to get the casual moviegoer? What is going to get somebody who doesn't know hardly any of the Disney Plus stuff, but hey, they see a new Star Wars film in theaters, they're going to go see it? How are they getting those people in the theaters and leaving happy? And I think that that's why you need to focus on just making one good theatrical release movie and then just keep building from there. That's my opinion on it. Matthew says, so she still probably has a lot of saying stuff coming out within the next 4 years. She probably does, man. But again, I think they are definitely going a different direction. I think that she might have a say in some of this stuff coming out in the next year or two. But this to me just seems like they're trying to tell fans, like, we're going a different direction. We're not going to tell you what direction that is. We're not going to tell you what's happening, but it's going to be different. And you only have one chance to, like, I feel like if there's another bad theatrical release movie, man, then they're in trouble. Like, they really got to make this next one really, really special. And again, I'm not really counting Mandalorian and Grogu and all this. I'm talking about more of, like, the next, like, Star Wars movie and, like, the timeline, I guess you could say, like, the episode, chapter, whatever, Tim Harvey in the building saying happy Friday. Justin, what's up, Tim? Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday to you, man. Hope you're keeping it casual. Thank you for being here, dude. Matthew says, would you say Star Wars is at its lowest point currently, or when you would say that was? Matthew, that's a great question, man. It's hard to answer this because, people that grew up with the original trilogy are going to say that was the height of Star Wars. People that grew up with the prequel trilogy are going to say, that, yeah, the original was the height, but I feel like the original is always the height of it. It's hard to top that. Star Wars is still in a good place because people are still talking about it. People are wanting to talk about it. People are constantly talking about it. But what's happening is Star Wars is becoming such a divisive, it's becoming such a, like, either people love it or people hate it type of, franchise type of IP, then I'm worried that, like, it's never going to be enough anymore. Like, I feel like it's never going to be enough for certain fans. even if something comes out that's pretty good, it feels like it has to be almost the perfect film. And for a lot of fans that grew up with the original trilogy or prequel trilogy, they're never going to love it as much as they love those originals. So it does make sense for Star Wars to want to like start telling stories for like a newer audience. Like that's totally understandable. But at the same time, I think what rubbed people the wrong way with the last couple of, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker is it almost like kind of disrespected a little bit of the original trilogy. And I think where the problems arose. And so I think that's why I keep saying they need to they need to start fresh with something. I think The Mandalorian was a great thing that they did. And I would say that I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I'm getting really pissed off. I'm getting so pissed off, man, because every time we're getting in a good discussion, man, I'll be honest with you, I have no clue what's going on with my connection tonight. Like everything that I'm seeing, it says that, it must be my internet tonight. Like normally it was like, okay, maybe my computer is just there's too much going on with the computer, but that checked out. So I don't know if there's like an internet outage going on or what, man, but I do apologize. I'm so sorry, you guys. But great question. Great question, Matthew. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say for some fans, yes. For other fans, I think that they're being optimistic that things will turn around. And again, Star Wars is still in a very healthy place, but it really needs to kind of figure out what it's going to be in this next decade. Christian says he wants Favreau over Filoni. I personally do as well. I think Filoni does great stuff. I would like to continue to see Filoni on a creative side. I think that him telling his Filoni verse of stuff is really good, and I really want to see that. But I think Favreau has more of a... I think he has more potential to reach a wider audience and to make a movie for a wider... Like I said, Filoni does great stuff, but a lot of that stuff, like, you have to have prior knowledge to. You know what I mean? And so, Matthew wants Favreau as well. Matthew says, it's funny people want Kevin Feige to take over, but Marvel isn't doing its best right now either. Yeah, I think they need to find a Kevin Feige-esque type of guy, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think that's what made that so special, is like nobody really knew who Kevin Feige was. Like, he really didn't do a bunch of interviews, and they were just making really good movies. They need to find somebody kind of like that, I think, who's just kind of oversees things almost as like a head coach, almost like not a head coach, but like a general manager of a team. And just hire good people and let them do creative things. I think I'm interested to see what James Gunn does with DC, because he does seem to have a focus on hiring great writers, but we will see how that goes. Again, you don't know how it's going to go until you actually see the product. Matthew says, Justin, The Mandalorian Season 1 is actually what got me into Star Wars. Of course, I was exposed to it as a kid, but I was never invested until that show came out. This is a perfect example. This is what I'm saying. The Mandalorian brought so many new fans to Star Wars. So many new fans. And I feel like the stuff that The Mandalorian did so well was it had a little bit of everything. It had great action. It had a very interesting central character. It expanded on Star Wars lore when it talked about Mandalore and all this stuff. It also connected to some things you were familiar with if you really wanted to go deep with Star Wars, with a lot of that Mandalore stuff, a lot of Clone Wars, all that different stuff that we've been talking about. But at the end of the day, the marketing was, this is the Mandalorian. This is Pedro Pascal's the Mandalorian. This is Baby Yoda. At the time, we didn't know it was Grogu, but we knew it was going to be like a Baby Yoda character. And they just delivered a good, like, weekly, fun Star Wars show. And it was fun, but then when it really needed to hit the dramatic beats, it hit them very well. And if they can try to capture that with their other stuff, I think they're going to be in a great position. I think they're trying to be too many things right now. And I feel like all you have to do is be Star Wars. That's all you have to be. And you just have to be good. Like, you just have to be entertaining. Make that your number one goal, is to entertain. Like, just entertain people. That's all you got to do. Easier said than done, I know. But MB Dyson brings up a good point here. He says, I want something with Luke after Jedi. They should do an animated series of Mark Hamill. He's a great voice actor, and age won't be an issue. Yeah, I think that's why people were rubbed the wrong way, personally, just to kind of see the treatment of the original cast of characters. But again, man, this is what happens with the never-ending IP, man. Like, the IPs that just continue to go and continue to go. You're seeing it with, like, the Scream franchise. We're getting another movie where we have a lot of the original Scream actors. It's like we saw it with the Halloween franchise with Laurie Strode. And again, as a fan of those movies, like, I love it because it brings back all those memories, and I want to see those characters again. But it's like, on the same time, man, like, sometimes I feel like we get too... It's just, sometimes it's just good to have that be in its time and place. And you can reference that, but to bring all those characters back and for them not to share the screen together, that never set right with me. And, yeah, man, I don't know. I think that would be cool if they could give Luke another story. I wasn't really happy with his return in these newer movies. I thought it could have been special, but I don't know. I was left disappointed as well. I'm not saying you were left disappointed. I'm assuming maybe you were, but I don't know. Everybody says, there's never been so much new Star Wars and Trek, and I dislike most of it. Heartbreaking. as a lifelong fan of both. And that's the thing, man, is like, sometimes we gotta reflect and be like, okay, man, sadly enough, we're getting older, and it gets to a point where like we're maybe not the target audience anymore. I mean, that's as weird as that sounds, like you start wondering stuff like this. You're like, hey man, but like maybe they just are trying to like have a new era of Star Wars and be for like newer fans who don't, because we're always going to compare everything to the originals and the prequels and all this stuff. And that's what, again, I keep stressing this, but that's what I think, for me, Force Awakens captured it too, but Mandalorian, stuff like that, like it captured the imagination of newer fans, but it also captured the imagination of people that grew up with Star Wars. Maybe it's the original trilogy. Maybe it's like me who grew up with the prequel trilogy. And it just felt like Star Wars and a lot of this newer stuff. And I think it's because there's so much of it that inevitably some of this stuff doesn't truly feel like Star Wars. And that's not that big of a deal if it's good, but when it's not good, you notice it more. So again, man, they're in a very interesting spot here. I do think normally I'm against like getting these big A-list actors to be in like a thing like Star Wars, but I do think that Gosling being attached to the new Star Wars, that casting does excite me, and Sean Levy's involvement does excite me because I love the work he's done on Stranger Things. So I'm hoping we get that balance of comedy, heart, all that stuff that made Star Wars. Maddie says, I completely skipped Acolyte and Skeleton Crew because it didn't interest me. Yeah, I think that's what happens too. There's so much of it that it's tough for everybody to keep up with it. We talk about this with the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Is like, if you're expecting people to watch 5 shows just to go see a movie, it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that's what happened with Star Wars. Star Wars kind of keeps their stories like to themselves, like where it's not this interconnected thing like Marvel, but still. Keith says, I must have missed it. Why do we keep losing? Just because it's got to be internet, man. I'm probably gonna have to cut the stream a little short because if that keeps happening, again, it didn't happen for a while. We're still looking good here, but yeah, man, I do apologize, Keith. Matthew says, I think they tried biting off too much in season 3, and that's why it dipped in that season, but hopefully they can learn from that because I don't want them to turn. Yeah, look, I think half of season 3 worked extremely well. I think the other half of season 3 did not work at all. And I think that season 1 and season 2 were just so damn good that it was just inevitable that we're going to be a little disappointed in it. But at the same time, I am a little nervous about the movie. I'm hoping that it's good. I'm hoping that it's great. But we'll see, man. We will see. All right, let's do this. Since we've been having some technical difficulties, and I will change the thumbnail. In post-production, so I'll when the stream's up, I'll change the thumbnail to kind of reflect what was actually on the show. We were going to talk about a few other topics, but just out of fear of like getting completely booted again from the stream, we will talk a little bit about the Red Hulk next, and if we have time for some other stuff, we will. MB Dyson says, take the time to do it right. Disney has rushed out too much Marvel and Star Wars. It's okay to have right from it is, and that's what people don't understand. MB Dyson, like, it's like all they're concerned about is making money, and that's honestly what they should be concerned about. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what they have to do. But on the flip side of that, having something feel special is why stuff makes so much money. Like, you look at the Avatar films. That was like the highest grossing movie of all time when it came out. And then you didn't see Avatar 2 for like 14 years. Think about that level of patience. And they just trusted James Cameron, and they get rewarded for it because it's another huge $1 billion movie. The problem with this right now is like these movies make so much money. I've been saying it for a while. The new strategy is you produce a movie for $250-300 million to make $1 billion. So it's just crazy how the movie industry has just shifted to that, like, completely. And again, man, Star Wars just doesn't even have to be great. Like, there's not a whole lot of great Star Wars films. Like, if you think about, like, in terms of greatness, like, there's great Star Wars films because you love Star Wars. But, there's Star Wars movies we love that we would, like, Phantom Menace, I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a great Star Wars movie. And that's kind of what I've been talking about. Like, make a great movie or make a great Star Wars movie. Like, if you make a great movie, that turns out to be a great Star Wars movie. That's all it needs to be. That's all it needs to be. Exactly. They wrote the Avatar sequels before that's exactly right. The writing comes first. Nowadays, like back then, used to write, everything started with a script. Everything started with an idea in a script. And now everything starts with Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy, new Star Wars movie. Hey, we need a script. We need a script for episode 11 or episode 10. It's like, what are we doing? Like it starts with the story. And just writers just get so disrespected in Hollywood, I feel like, because I feel like it's like it all boils down to the writing. It all boils down to the story. And that's what every creative will tell you. Like every director, every actor will tell you, like, hey, it all starts with the script. You know, they're probably the lowest paid people, you know, the writers, and they're the most vital to the production. Now, don't get me wrong. For these big budget movies, it takes a lot of work from a lot of people. But storytelling at the core is storytelling, you know? So if you don't have a good story, you're just fighting this uphill battle, man. Matthew says, I may be out of the loop on this, but do you miss when we got 20 plus episode seasons, or do you prefer the transition to 10, only a handful of episodes per season? And this goes outside of Star Wars. I do miss 20 episode seasons if it was shows that I not necessarily like a procedural, but I do hate that we get like 5 episodes, 6 episode seasons, and we have to wait 2.5, 3 years. And the difference is now I really think it's because we cast huge A-list actors in shows now, and we have to work around their schedules. When before, shows would get like there used to be a thing that was like, hey, this is a TV actor, this is a film actor. And I think now, since they're going and getting like movie directors and movie stars to be in Netflix original series, that's where you're seeing stuff only being 4 to 6 episodes long. I just miss being able to see an episode and talk about it, and not have to watch the entire season or have it spoiled for you. You know, that's what I miss. I don't know if I've missed the 20 episode seasons. I mean, Lost is my favorite TV show of all time. And that had 20. It was just so much fun discussing that show, you know? And again, we're just in a new time, man. I mean, that's what we really have to accept. And it's hard for me to do that because I'm very nostalgic for a lot of things. And I also love new stuff. So I can kind of how it is now. It's just, it's this how the industry is. This is how it is on streaming. And, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of a bummer, but, you know, that's how it is now. MB Dice says all 4 written before they shot Way of Water, actually planning ahead. Exactly, dude. And think about that. You don't think that they were like, James Cameron, we need more Avatar. But, you know, Fox was like, you know, now Fox, I mean, again, maybe it wasn't a good move because now Disney owns Fox. So maybe it wasn't a good move that they waited because they could have made more money. So there is the risk there, you know. But, you know, Disney's a public traded company, man. I mean, their goal is to just continue to make as much money as possible year after year. They just want to make money. And you can't really fault them for that. They're a business. But somewhere along the way, man, somewhere along the way, it shifted into that, you know, and it's always been like this, but there was always other stuff too. But now when you go to theaters, a lot of it is just big blockbuster, $250, $300 million movies to make $1 billion. And dude, there used to be times where you'd go to the theater and there was like literally 6 or 7 good quality movies out at a time because stuff stayed in theaters for months. Now stuff's in theaters for weeks. Now Star Wars comes out, it's in theaters for 2 months, and that's all that's in the theater. You know, so it's just kind of a bummer, man. But it all starts with story, man. And so Star Wars really needs to focus less on who the actor is going to be, who the director is going to be, who are the writers going to be, who's going to write the new Star Wars movies. Are they going to be standalone? Are they going to be trilogies? What are we doing here? Like, figure that out and then build out. And everybody's trying to do the Marvel thing where it's like the shared universe, this bigger thing, this, the DC James Gunn verse. It's like, dude, what is with all this universe stuff? Like, just make a movie. Just make a movie. Let the fans build out the universe. That's how it used to be. Fans used to just build out, like, whether it be fan fiction or whatever, you kind of build out the universe with like comic books and TV shows and cartoons. That would be kind of cool too. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Dice says, if they can make 10 every year, I'm okay with that. But taking twice as long to make many episodes. Yeah, absolutely. This is word for word kind of, I didn't say this, but this is exactly my thoughts on it too. Like, 10 is okay. It's just having 10 and then waiting 3 years for another 10. I mean, they used to, it used to just be 21 episodes, 6 months, then another 21 episodes, All right. For real, guys, I appreciate every single person. We still got 11 in the chat, man. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. I really appreciate every single one of you still being here with the technical difficulties. Let's do this. Let's talk about Red Hulk real quick. We're going to talk about Hot Toys Red Hulk, and then we're going to close out the show. I will do a Q&A segment on a separate stream, and I will also do these other topics. I'll post on something else. So I apologize. I can just see that it's just going to be a problem all night. And so let's just talk about this real quickly, and that'll wrap up our show for the evening. And that'll get us right at probably about 2 hours. So let's see what we got here. All right, so we got the Red Hulk here, the Hot Toys Red Hulk, and we'll talk about this briefly. If you haven't seen my Captain America Brave New World review, I actually have that on my channel if you want to check that out to hear my thoughts on it. Just to give you some quick bullet points, like I thought it was okay. Like, I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't think it was very good, but I've seen a lot worse movies. I've seen a lot better movies. I just thought it was, it was an okay couple hours at the theater. With this figure, the thing I find the most interesting is obviously when they start making these, I would assume they're taking the look of the character that maybe is originally in the concept art. And for me, the concept art is probably this. I know that the actual Red Hulk went through a lot of changes. I actually prefer the way the Red Hulk looks in the final movie, and this does not reflect what the Red Hulk looks like in the final movie, in my opinion. Like, you kind of see how he looks right there, and I'll bring up again, it's hard to really describe it. But let me see if I can pull up a picture just to show you the difference. It's I don't know. There's something about it. The body that, like, when I watched the movie, the body just seemed different. This seems like a very, the hair, the face is a lot fuller. And I think it looks kind of good, but I mean, I think that looks good. Like, the teeth look great. But man, in the movie, man, when you kind of get the actual Hulk on screen, I just feel like there were some changes made before the movie came out that is more reflective of the Hulk. So let me see if I can pull up an image so we can do. All right, so kind of take a look at that. You kind of see the face there, and then we're going to take a look at then we're going to take a look. So remember what this looks like, okay? And see if you kind of agree with me here on this. We're going to, and then this. I don't know, this when you'd have to see the movie, the body, it's like a more lean Hulk body. It's a more like agile, lean Hulk body. It's not as hulking as Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. It's more of a lean, like, in the face, it's hard to show in these pictures, but in the movie, the face just looks a lot thinner. It looks a lot more sleek than this does. And again, there's just something off with this. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like right here, it's just the face is too full. The body it looks just like the regular Hulk, the green Hulk. And when you watch the movie, the red Hulk, from what I saw, has a different body structure and everything. And here again, man, I want to love this because I really wanted to be excited for this, man. But I'll be honest, like this, there's some issues I have with this for sure. Like I know that I guess it can't be seamless because that would be super expensive. I get it. The shoulders don't bother me that much, but this definitely bothers me down here by the knee. And I know they want to get flexibility with it, and I do like that. But again, man, the body just seems it should be a little like more slender and a more tall Hulk. It looks like, I don't know, the face just throws it off for me. I mean, this picture looks good. Like this looks like a cool red Hulk. But when you go see the movie, man, I felt like the movie got Harrison's likeness a lot better. And I felt like it was a more sleeker look that I really thought was really badass. And I would have liked to have seen in this figure. Mitchell says the oversaturation of different series and films on streaming services killed the 20 episodes. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they just want to have content out. They want to have as much content as possible. We got Mike Paws in the house. Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you for being here, dude. Hope you're having a good evening. Mitchell says, did you pre-order the Clean T800? I have not pre-ordered that yet, but I need to. I'm going to. That's for sure coming home, Mitchell, 100%. And thank you for the reminder on the pre-order. I don't pre-order a whole lot of stuff anymore, but that's something I definitely want to have pre-ordered. MB Dice says, look like he's thinking, stop asking me about Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. Mitchell with the laughing emoji as well. But overall, like I said, man, I think this is a cool announcement because it is Red Hulk. I'm not super pleased with the end result. Like even right here, I felt like, even though the bodies are a little bit different, I just felt in the movie like he was more of like a taller. It's hard to explain unless you've seen the movie. I mean, you've maybe even seen the promo stuff of like the trailer and stuff, but there's something about the hair and the face just seems too wide, just seems a little off to me. And I'm not crazy about that, man. So for me, I want to see, I'm hoping that they make some adjustments to this and they make it look a little bit better. Because this is a character I really want to have in the collection. And at $390, I don't think that's a bad price for this. But at the same time, I think that there is room for improvement that I hope they improve on. So that's kind of where I stand on that. Let me know in the comments below what you think if you're picking this one up. Mike says, I feel like the texture on the chest especially looks a little strange, like it's supposed to suggest hair, but doesn't really. Yeah, that's a great point, man. Yeah, that's a great point. Mike says, looks more like leather or something. Yeah, it really does. And when you see the movie, there's just something about it, man, where this just feels off. Like it just looks a little off to me. Mitchell says, oh, okay, likewise on the pre-order thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm being very selective now with what I'm actually pre-ordering. Mike says he does like the sculpt. Yeah, the sculpt's good. I just don't think it's, and I'm usually not like this. I'm usually pretty forgiving. But the movie, I don't know. I just see a lot more Harrison in the actual movie. Like the face just seems a little too full and wide when you look at this face compared to like what's on the screen. And that's just, that's just me. Yargron 2 Lane says, I think this looks cool, but I'm not getting this piece. Focused on Star Wars figures from 1/6. I just finally pulled the trigger on Plo Koon last week. Hell yeah, dude, nice. But yeah, I mean, that again, just my opinion. Do I think it still looks good? Do I still think it would be worth getting like this? Yeah, I still think it is. But I would like to have seen some of those changes again. I'm just not a huge fan of. I just felt like Harrison Ford's Hulk had a lot different features, and again, man, if you've seen the movie or you've seen the promotional material, you kind of hopefully know what I'm talking about. It's hard for me to articulate it, but it's just like a more like the face was like thinner, I guess you could say, and I guess like the body was more like longer and like ripped as opposed to just bulky like this. So I don't know, man. I mean, this dude's ripped. He's got a 12 pack. But anyway, I'm not articulating it well, but I think that there is room for improvement on this. Do I still think it looks good and worth getting at $390 if you're really into the character? Yes, absolutely. But I was hoping I am hoping still for some changes to be made before release. Get off my plane. Mike says, but I haven't seen the movie, so that could change things compared to what's on the screen. Like you said, it could, Mike. I mean, again, man, maybe I'm being too hard on it, to be honest, but I'm not sure. I'd have to watch the trailer again. I kind of pulled up a picture earlier because, like, the best way I can describe it is that compared to this. I don't know. There's just, I know it, like, it seems like, dude, that's the same thing, but there's just something about this, the aged hair, the more slender face, in my opinion. The body just looks more visceral, looks more like the chest just looks more like ripped as opposed to bulky. I don't know. Mitchell says, stick the Indiana Jones head sculpt on this. That'd be sick. That'd be a great way to do it if you want to get that likeness. Mike says, I've slowed down pre-ordering too, but I did PO that Sideshow Weapon X premium format today because the X hit low stock. I am weak. Yeah, I'm weak too, man, but I've been proud of myself. I've been doing a lot better. Like I've said, Mike, I know you've been in the chat on other ones, but I'm definitely slowing it down this year. Definitely being very strategic this year. Less artisans in my future, I'm sure. Unless it's like the only way I can get the character. But yeah, I'm scaling back a lot this year, which is cool. It's helped me be like more appreciative of what I am getting and like really focused in on the characters I really want to get. Christian says the floppy plastic at the knee is bothering me. That's bothering me too a little bit. I'll be honest with you, Christian. I'll be honest with you. MBDI says you could do a custom President Ross with the indie sculpt unless that has stuck on. Yeah, that's a great point, dude. That'd be a cool custom. That really would be a cool custom. And I thought, look, whether you thought the movie was good or not, like I actually want to see more of Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross, and Red Hulk. I feel like we didn't even get. We need to get more Red Hulk just being dominant. Like I feel like we did not get the true Red Hulk in this movie. So yeah. All right, guys, we're an hour and 45 minutes in. Before my stream cuts out again, we still have 10 in the chat. I just want to thank every single person for still being here. We fought through some technical difficulties. We fought through some Justin, meaning me, not being consistent on Casual Fridays. I've been hit or miss this month. Just have, again, everybody's got a lot going on, but I just had a lot going on, so I do apologize. Thank y'all all for being here. Got some different content on the channel like I've talked about in the past. Hopefully the people that are here are enjoying it. Hopefully all of you are enjoying it, and we're still just continuing to try new things, try different stuff, so hopefully y'all can stay along for the ride. But truly, it does mean the world to me, man, that every single person, even with the technical difficulties, even with all that, y'all still sticking with me. Had 10 in the chat, 10 to 15 almost all night. Really means the world to me, man, that you guys are here and enjoying the show, hopefully. And again, as I always say, man, you guys make the show and make it what it is. So I appreciate all the feedback, all the great chats, man. Y'all have had some great stuff in the comments tonight, so I really appreciate it. MB Dyson says, you're good enough and smart enough and Garth started people like you. Thanks, MB Dyson. That's exactly what I need to hear, man. But no, it does mean a lot to me, man. March is going to be a fun month. I got a lot of content planned, so hopefully it ends up being as good as I'm hoping it's going to be. And hopefully y'all enjoy it. And yeah, if you want to check out some of my movie reviews that I posted on the channel recently, check that out. Got some couple videos coming this week, and we'll be back for Casual Friday next week. Mitchell Lawrence says, great chatting. It's It's been a while. Yeah, it's great to see you, Mitchell. Really, really great seeing you, man. Thank you for being here, man, and keeping it casual as always. For real, guys, truly appreciate you being here. Hit that thumbs up button. Can't even talk. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Really, really appreciate it. Real quick, though, we got to check in with Mike. He says it's casual. You make it when you can. No stress, brother. Just enjoy the ride. Hey, I hear you, Mike. I appreciate this, dude. And I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard, I haven't talked to you in a little bit, man. So I hope everything's going well with you, man. And thanks so much for being here. Christian Cooper says, Justin, you're the best. I appreciate this, Christian. I really do, man. Thank you, dude. Really appreciate you, man. And then the goat emoji, man. I don't know if I'm deserving, but I'll take it. I appreciate it, Christian. And that's all I got tonight, guys. I'm going to update the thumbnail. I know we had a couple of other topics to talk about tonight, but we really talked a lot about Star Wars tonight. Talked some Red Hulk. And then we had those technical difficulties, and I just don't want the stream to cut out before it's over. So I'm going to sign off. Thank y'all so much for being here. Keep it casual on episode 21 of Casual Friday. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. And as always, I'll see you next time.